Good day everyone and welcome to Exile News, the weekly show that brings you all the important news and informations on Path of Exile. And the first news we got this week has been some more concept art for the War of the Atlas expansion, and most of it is actually coming from the supporter packs. So you can see all of the armor types and prototypes for the armors included in supporter packs. There's also some Elder stuff, so the Elder itself, some Elder minions with some gruesome real eye ripped from somewhere, I'm not sure where, and you might recognize this. It's actually the Elder, which is in the top left corner of the actual landing page of Path of Exile and the background, so that is pretty cool. Also some unique items and some more artwork in general. If you are actually into this kind of artwork pieces and you want to know more, definitely check the thread out. Of course, the link will be in the description below. Also, we got a bit of a story on the designing of the Fire and Ice mystery box, and it's always interesting when GGG goes out and talks about designing. This time is not game design, it's a bit more of a market design, and how they actually kind of followed the Chaos and Order mystery box since it was really successful for them. And they chose a theme, so this time it was Fire and Ice, and they also created the mixed armor sets, so basically where you can actually fuse two pieces together to create a new type of armor set, and that is really cool, while also not making people think that they will not be able to get their items from the boxes. So because if you have 3 different armor sets into a box, the chances of get the item you want is really low. If you have only 2, you still feel like you can get them, so they actually got 2 and then they made it so that you could mix them. And of course there's all of the tries they prepared before actually releasing the box. And also they talk about why they added like hideout decorations and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's really interesting to see how they think these things up and how they learn from their past mistakes, or not even mistakes, but from what happens into the past. They definitely take account of that and build better boxes every time for the future. So also the new boxes are already in the works, so if you're someone who likes these gambling boxes or the armor sets that come with them, well, definitely get ready because they're probably gonna be awesome as well. We also got a little bit of a story for the development of the map system, because, well, GGG started the game like 10 years ago, and even back then when they had the end game, if you so you can call it, at Brutus, which was level 10, they saw players, which were mostly their friends, actually farming Brutus because that was the highest level content, and they realized that pretty much anywhere can be an end game. And back in the days when they only had 2 acts, the game repeated 4 times because that's what the standard was back in the early 2000s. And well, they tried a couple of things. So they tried having the last act could be completely flat in terms of levels for the monsters, so you could actually choose which area to farm. The problem was that players kind of just chose their own layouts depending on like straightness, so ledge was really popular back in the days. I still remember the days where ledge was a really good farming place. Nowadays it's just another map into the story, no one cares about it anymore, sadly. But still, since players kind of worked out the best maps, GGG added a light tapering to the last difficulty so that players would be encouraged to play in the hardest areas. However, this made it so the players always played in the same zones, like the same 2 zones, and this made it really boring. After that, GGG kind of made the Maelstrom of Chaos, which is not the current map we have right now, but it was a series of 8 endgame zones which scaled in difficulty. The problem there was that players watched streamers, and streamers actually had decent gears. Back then the game was really hard, so streamers who actually had really good gears kind of jumped the first difficulties of the Maelstrom of Chaos and went to farm the harder ones. So players tried that because they felt entitled to be able to play those zones, and they got wrecked, of course. This was the time where GGG actually came and confronted the content and difficulty entitlement, which is and has always been a problem in Path of Exile, and it still is a little bit now, a lot less ever since GGG actually introduced maps, where you had a cost in which you actually need to find the map first, and then you need to put mods on the map, and the mods tells you that the map is hard. So this is kind of a solution that they found. Also, if you played for a while, you remember that maps had not tiers, but they had levels. The problem again was the entitlement, so if you were level 80, you expected to be able to do level 80 maps. However, if you had, well, there even weren't level 80 maps, but if you had bad gears, you got wrecked even in the level 70 maps. So that was a big problem back in the days, which is why GGG changed map to tiers, which was a very discussed change back in the days, but now it's absolutely correct. Also, they changed the colors of the maps, so after the tier 6 you get yellow maps, and then after tier 11 I think you get red maps, so that you feel like they are harder and think a little bit more before feeling entitled to actually complete those maps. And well, that's kind of how the situation is right now with the new maps and all of the system that runs around it, to actually create diversity into the endgame, so that even if you run the same map over and over, you get different layouts, you get different encounters, like you get masters, you can get a breach, you get abysses right now, you can get all kind of different things. And well, I think the system right now is pretty good, but still I'm sure GGG is working more and more things on their end, because they're definitely working on new expansions, like the first that's coming up next. I don't think next league is going to be an expansion. It's just going to be like a new league and some changes, minor or major. We'll have to see about that. And then the next expansion will come after that. But still, every time GGG kind of touches the end game, it seems to get better, because they actually care and they actually do all of the design properly. So they learn from their past mistakes. They have the strength to realize that sometimes it's just their design that's bad, and so they go back, they retrace their steps and try to fix it, which is a pretty good thing, because if you don't accept the idea that sometimes you're wrong, you can never fix some of the things. So kudos on them, and hopefully we'll get some even better endgame systems. Also, a very quick thing, while the stash tabs are on sale this weekend, if you're an Xbox user, the map stash tab is currently not yet available in the store. However, GGG is actually working to get it done really soon. And the last bit of news, which is not an official news but still really interesting, yesterday in the evening for me, I don't know about your time, Zizaran kind of had Chris Wilson on a podcast with him, where he kind of he simply asked question to Chris Wilson. For those who do not know, is the lead developer of GGG, so it's always pretty interesting to see the actual lead developer of GGG come and talk to the community, pretty much, since streamers are kind of a representation of the community in this case. So it's definitely really interesting. It's 2 hours long, so if you don't have anything to do, it's a Sunday, so you might have some free time, definitely check this out. Maybe put it into the background while you're playing, or do something else, but still a really interesting podcast every time that we get some from GGG to actually be a part of it. And yeah, that was all for this week, so if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment down below. Also, if you want to remain updated every week, be sure to subscribe to my channel. That was all. I've been your host Giorgio, and I'll see you guys the next time.